Yo, how's it going, my fellow catfishians? This is Co-Oz Legend Coda speaking, and welcome. In this tutorial video, I'm going to hope to teach you how to use a cool auto splitter for both PC and console. So I'm gonna make sure to put the links down below, but for now, let's just get started. First of all, you click on the link that I provide you, and you will be met with this page. Here it teaches you how to use it, how to download and open and all that stuff, but obviously for now you can ignore that and look at this later if you need more help. You click on releases right here. You get met with the latest version as of the making of this video. It is 1.6.1. But obviously this can change in the future. And then you click on assets where it says assets, you click AutoSplit 1.6.1 zip, and you are done. For now, we are going to again ignore anything that this says, because while I was testing this, I got super confused even by looking at this supposed tutorial, and that is why you are watching this video, hopefully. Okay, step 2 is this right here. When you receive your AutoSplit 1.6.1, you will be met with some of these folders, but not all of them. For example, if you open this, you get AutoSplit and settings.pkl. I changed my PKL to something else, mainly because this is my saved settings. Also, you do not get a split image folder. That is what I named my images to be specifically located in. You want a folder that states where your images are, because if you have more than one game or more than one route for said game, you're going to have to separate all of the images, which I will later explain. So if you go in here, you can see how that there are, in this example I will be talking about simply Infernax, but this image folder, this auto splitter, should work with any game. I will be providing all of these images to the community for Infernax if they want to use these images, but I will also explain what could go wrong towards the end of the video. But for now, here they are. So if we just open Gardakin Defeat Felgor for now, you will see that they are named quite weirdly. You want to name these images by your splits. As you can tell, it says Power 2, Grandma Quest, Shield, Thorn Shield, Discounted Butcher, Shield, Thorn Shield, Discounted Butcher. So to quickly explain what is happening, when you use the auto splitter, you need to make sure that your auto splitter is named in numerical order. So for example, you see here how it is called 001, 002, 003, 004, so on and so forth, up to, in this case, 34. That is how your image splitter, your auto splitter, looks at these images. So for example, if these two are called 001 and you split, it will jump to 003 most likely. I have not tested it out personally, but if, again, you have to name these by numerical order. So obviously when you count, you will never go 1, 3, 6, 7. You will go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And The reason why you want to call these by what your splits are is just so you know what you are looking at when they are popping up in your current split image. Meaning, when you see this image right here, this is a power 2 and it's got the D in it. The D is referring to a dummy split. Dummy split you can just think as of a fake split. It's just telling the program, hey, when you see this image, the very next image, which would be this one, that's where I want you to split. And what's cool about that is just in case your game, in this case in Fernax, it looks similar to other parts of said game, your image splitter, your auto splitter will not split at a part that kind of looks the same. It will split right after said image. So again, it'll see this image, and then the very next image that looks exactly like this when it comes to a 90% similarity, then it'll split there. And that's just what dummy split is referring to. The reason why you want to make sure that this is clicked on is due to when you skip the first split, it'll actually skip both of the images that your fake split is attached to. So for instance, 001 and 002 will be skipped and immediately go to 3. Hence why you want to call these by the same name. So if you skip 3, then it'll skip 3 and 4 and immediately go to 5. If the fake split is not clicked on, then you will skip the first image but not the second image, but you're actually on the second split. So hopefully that has been explained perfectly, and if not, just make sure that when you have images, even if there is no D in the title, that this is actually clicked on, as simple terms goes. And again, the images are just called so you know what you are looking for, because sometimes when you skip or when you undo a skip, the program sometimes messes up an undo split or skip split manually if it ends up breaking for some reason. I will state that your timer global hotkeys and your, in this case, my live splitter hotkeys have to be the same. They can't be different. So for example, 7890 for start, reset, undo, skip, number pad of 0 for pause. So here you can see 7809 and then number pad for 0 would be pause. You have to make sure that the auto splitter hotkeys are the same thing as your live splitter. So for example, you can use any sort of live split that you want. It doesn't have to be specifically this one. I know there's also another one called W split. As long as it has hotkeys, and as long as those are the same as your auto splitter hotkeys, then this program should work just fine. So now I'm going to show you how to capture your game. So before we do that, make sure that your split image folder is correct. So this is where you tell the program, these are the images that I want you to look at. So as long as this knows where to look at, then obviously your program will work correctly. If it's looking at different splits or different images entirely, then obviously this program will not work. So I'm gonna run my game in Fernax, and I will show you how to make sure that the capture region actually works. So as you can hear in the background, the game is running. You just can't see it because it is on the different window, which I will show you right now. There it is. That's where my game is running. So now that you have your game running, what you need to do is, assuming you have game capture, maybe you have window capture, I have no idea. In this example, I'll just go with game capture. You right click and you choose window projector source. So now that you have that, you get this cool window. So as you can tell, the game is running. So now you use the select window in AutoSplitter, and you click on the window that you want to select, and there you can see that it is working. So now you have your game captured on the program. In this case, I already have a start image, which is this one right here, which is called Start AutoSplitter, right there. Start AutoSplitter is referring to that when AutoSplitter sees this specific image and there is at least a 90% threshold of similarity that this that the program hits, then your AutoSplitter, which would be this, this will start this over here. But in this case, I just reload the image and there it is. So here you can see current similarity threshold is of 0.68 out of 90. So the default could be 90, and the default pause time is 10 seconds. This is just referring to when you split, it'll take at least 10 seconds, maximum 10 seconds, for your AutoSplitter to make sure it waits before moving on to the next image. If I were you, I would not change anything on here, including the comparison method. I'm not going to explain anything about this because I don't look at any of that. I just look at my images and making sure that it actually works. So again, as you can see, the game is now working. The reason why the capture region is live capture region, it is just referring to the program is capturing your game and it is live capturing your game. So if you have all of your images already perfectly fine, you can unclick that. So now, as you can tell over here, that the game is no longer running. You would have to click live capture region in order to make sure it actually live captures. This is just to save like a memory slot on your PC. The only reason you want live capture region is to take pictures in case you do not have pictures for your game. So obviously, again, this works for both PC and console games. So in this case, I'm referring to Infernax on PC, but if you have any game, like any game that you can play on PC, you're gonna want to make sure your capture region is correct and take pictures for every single split where you want the AutoSplitter to be splitting to begin with. So whenever it comes to naming your images, you want an underscore as the space. So don't do 001 space power space 2 because the AutoSplitter is not going to understand that. You want to name 001 underscore power, in my case underscore 2, to separate each space. And if you at any point you add like extra things, like this is a fake split, this right here is a different threshold of 0.85 instead of 90, you always want to separate them with the underscore again. And that's it. Name your images by your splits. Make sure that they have underscores for every single space, and if you have different actions being placed on each image, that they are separated by underscore and their proper use of symbol, whatever it is that might be. So just to give a quick recap, when you download AutoSplitter, You make sure that your image folder is correct. In this case, it is this folder, the Gardakan Defeat Belphegor. Make sure that your timer global hotkeys is the same as the live splitter that you are using, whether if it's this one or a different one. Just make sure that the global hotkeys are the exact same thing. When you have your game, you right click window capture to get your captured game here, and you know it's working because it now is under capture region and you can see that it is working. Now you make sure that all of your images are numerical order, separated by underscores, and they are named by your splits in my case, just so you know where you are at every time. You have a start auto splitter. In this case, you can also have a reset, just simply called reset. So whenever the program sees this image, it'll automatically reset your timer. The only thing you would need to do is make sure that you save your golds if you have any, or cancel it, whatever it is you wish to do. And we go from there. When it comes to this game specifically, I start the live splitter personally because it's impossible to have a specific start image due to how the game works to begin with. Like, you have to start it as soon as you select the difficulty, but that's not what this image shows. This image shows once you're actually in the game. So you can start your splitter and still have a start auto splitter, and it'll work just fine. It just means that when the program sees this image, then the program will then take action of your splits. That's all that means. So even though you start it yourself, the program will still work just fine. So I definitely suggest you have a start auto splitter anyways, just so you know you are doing everything correctly. So now that we have everything set up, I'm going to show you how auto splitter works, and I'm going to be playing, and you'll only be seeing this tiny gameplay just so you can see the auto splitter actually working. And when it comes to showing you the game, I'm going to just fast forward, so you're not seeing like the boring parts, but you are still seeing the program in action. So for example, when I select this option right here, that's where the timer begins, but that's not where the timer is going to start on auto splitter. That being said, again, you can do it however way you want, but in this case, I start it and then the program takes action upon itself. Or in this case, it won't because I forgot to
Here we go!
press the button, but there you see that the auto splitter started on itself. So now when it sees the red screen, as you can see by this right here, it is showing you when the current split image is. So for example, when I do runs, I'm always looking at this screen, not this one, because this one is never active, because I don't need it to be active, and it's showing you power 2 fake split of D. It'll look for this image, and then when it sees the next image, it'll split. So you'll see it all in action as we move forward. So there you can see the program in action when it comes to current capture, as well as over on this side you can see the actual game and what the image the splitter is looking for. So here you say, yes, we want to save you, because if we don't do that, then it won't actually split on power 2. So basically what the image is looking for is when this boss dies, right there, you saw that it went off and it pauses itself for 10 seconds. So as soon as it sees this image, which is 002, which is still power 2, it'll split. So as soon as I walk into the transition over on this side, it'll split. Right there. So again, whenever it sees a specific image, it pauses itself for 10 seconds. You can change the length of that time, but I'm not going to explain any of that because I don't know what happens if you actually change it or if anything happens. I just keep it at 10 seconds because it doesn't bother me, and if you have any splits like closer to 10 seconds, the only thing I could suggest is just change it so it's further than that, but you know, I'm not really sure why anyone would be splitting every 10 seconds either. So again, the next screen it's looking for is a red screen, which is way ahead, so I'm just gonna end up fast forwarding the game, but you can still see me play it. There's a very loud cat in the background. So right here, as soon as this boss dies, then the image splitter will continue. Right there, you see it go off, and now the image splitter, the auto splitter is looking for the next image, which is right there. So as soon as it sees me enter the in again, because I've already entered it once, it'll split on that specific section. So I'm just gonna stop there as soon as it splits so you can see it in action. But right there, it automatically splits. So I guess you can say one reason why you would want to use auto splitter is due to your game will always and perfectly, or at least more than human perfectly, split every single time. So if I leave this and then enter this, it'll split again. And it's really that simple. So you don't have to press the split buttons, whether if it's on your keyboard or your controller any longer, due to the fact that the images do the work for you. So I will explain what could go wrong. So for example, my image splitter sometimes does not split here in this specific image, Skycall, or sometimes it doesn't split here on Holy Charge. I can't tell you why sometimes it doesn't split, and to me, it doesn't really matter. What I do care about is that the image splitter is working, and that it actually is splitting basically everywhere. Sometimes when it doesn't split, you just press the skip button, which in my case is 0. And when that happens, you just skip the image and move on to the next split. I'm sure that if you are looking towards the similarity as I'm playing the game to like change whether you need to either increase the threshold or decrease it for that specific image by, again, via you just name it with whatever these things are called. I don't know what they're called. And then changing the number, so if it sees a 75 threshold instead of 90, then it'll specifically look it for this image and it will split. But yeah, sometimes things can go wrong, like when you skip a split, sometimes AutoSplitter will be one image ahead or behind, so in which case you can just use the manual skip image. So there it's now looking for 07, and then here it's looking for 09 because there was this flake split before it. Here it's looking for 010, so on and so forth. But yeah, hopefully this tutorial has helped you out in some way. So one last thing would be, I have tested this out with one other person, and they had mentioned that only like 60 or 70% of the images were actually working. One great reason as to why that would be is probably because my base resolution / output resolution was different than what they were using. I don't know why this would cause the AutoSplitter to not work, but if for whatever reason my images don't work with your game, even though we're playing the exact same game and you have followed these exact same rules, the best thing that you can do is take the pictures yourself, and that is why you have live capture. So for instance, if you want your next split to be right here, you take the picture, it'll show you that it took the picture right there, and then it'll be named by 001 split image. So obviously if this goes down on 17, then you change it to 017, and then you change the name by whatever your split is. Again, I don't know why why these images wouldn't work with these specific with this specific route. So in this case it's Gardakan to beat Belphegor, which is the any %. Then you, at the end of the day, you're gonna have to take the pictures yourself, or change some of them to be different, or if you want to add more splits, or you want it to split at a different time, then obviously you're gonna have to change these pictures around. But these are the ones that I use, so as long as you are using these images, then basically you are using the same thing that I use in order to split while I'm speedrunning myself. But there you go. Hopefully this helped. If it didn't, you can just show up on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/KoazLegionKeru. That will also be linked down below. And I am more than happy to show you how AutoSplitter works live. Or I can answer questions on YouTube if, again, this was not clear enough, but hopefully it was. If it wasn't, I do apologize. I tried my best to explain how this worked, because it took me around 5 hours to get this thing to work, even by using the tutorial that the website gave me, and it was extremely confusing. So hopefully these 5 steps have helped you out when it comes to using AutoSplitter. Again, the reason why it's great is because you can do your speed runs without having to make sure that you are splitting at the right time every single time. Or if you're like me, you either forget because you've added more splits, and this does it all for you. Hands off. Sorry I didn't explain every single thing that you see here, but I'm sure if you get this to work, and you want it to be more accurate, you can figure this all out on yourself, on your own. But for now, that is a quote-unquote simple tutorial of how to make sure your auto-splitter works with whatever game that you are playing. In this case, it is Infernax, showing you how to name your images, how to take the images, how to skip the images if you are behind or ahead, how the different titles work, and just to show you right here, I showed you how the game ended up starting, and now if I exit right there, as you can tell, as soon as it saw Infernax, it automatically reset my split. So I even don't have to press the skip button, other than if I get a gold, I would have to say yes or no. And that's how AutoSplitter works. So again, hopefully this helped. If it didn't, make sure to stop by my Twitch channel and let me know if you need more help, or some cool comments, or not cool comments, you know, whatever it is works for you, on whether this helped you or not. That being said, I am done. Hopefully this helped, and I hope to see you in the next one. Take care.